Well, I'm a couple of minutes late. I'm sorry, it's been a busy day. I am your host, Dr. Polly Heil-Mealey with Abundant Health and Wellness, and we are located in downtown Humble at Avenue C and Main Street. And today we're going to be talking about essential oils, and we're going to be talking about the wisdom of ingesting them. So I know people are coming on. Like I say, I'm a few minutes late. I hate to be late, but we just had tons of people in the clinic today. It's been a busy day, and then yeah, it's just kind of that way. Okay, so we want to talk to you today about essential oils. So I don't know that this is going to be a 30-minute webinar. I don't know that it is. It might be. It might not be. It just depends on how things go today. So a lot of your big major essential oil companies will tell you that you can ingest all of the essential oils, and they are directing you to put lemon, lime, peppermint in your water, and they're telling you that you can use lemon oil, essential oil, instead of the lemon. There was this whole big thing a few years ago that the lemons that we get in the restaurant, when they've tested them, they've had fecal bacteria all over them. And of course, nobody wants to talk about that. And they have told us, and they told me too, that you could use the essential oil, the essential lemon. You can put it in your water, and you don't have to worry about fecal bacteria in your water. And so for years I did that because I didn't know any better. And then I met our own Dr. Deborah Zeff, and she said that the essential oil does not mix with the water, and it's very volatile, and it will actually eat the enamel off my teeth. And so teeth are a very precious commodity. I only have one set. I do not want to go and have dentures or veneers or anything like that, so I quit doing that. You know, you get older and you get a little bit smarter. So I just want to give you some information on essential oils. What we do not want to do ever, ever, ever is to put essential oils in a capsule and then swallow the capsule. What that does is it takes that very volatile oil and it puts it in a capsule. By the time it hits your stomach, the oil could have burned through the gelatin in the capsule. Certainly your stomach acid is going to burn through that, and that oil is going to permeate and burn through the mucosa lining of your GI tract. Now, this is really, really important because essential oils should never come in contact with the GI tract. Now, if you're just like don't know anything about the GI tract, your GI tract is from your mouth all the way through to your bottom, right? It is full of mucus. It is full of it's a coating. It's a coating so that everything that we eat stays in the GI tract. It doesn't permeate through the stomach or permeate through the small intestine or the large intestine. So when we ingest essential oils in a capsule, it releases that essential oil, and that essential oil can burn a hole through that mucosa lining in the gut, in the small intestine, and even in the large intestine. And so then we can have some real problems. So what problems can we get? Well, in the stomach, you can get ulcers, and we don't want you to have ulcers, but you can actually get ulcers in the stomach from doing this essential oil that way. You can get a condition known as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. They have an acronym for that called SIBO, S-I-B-O, and again, that's small intestine bacteria overgrowth. And what that means is that something has happened to the microbiome of the gut, and so the correct bacteria has been displaced by yeast and by fungus. The yeast and the fungus also burrows holes in the GI tract, and it allows the food particles, the undigested food particles that you have eaten, to permeate through that GI tract. Now, what happens? Well, when that happens, that sets off a chain reaction, a chemical reaction. I think it's a homocysteine, but I may get in trouble for saying that. Anyway, it is a pro-inflammatory response. Your body thinks that your cells are being invaded with proteins that it does not recognize because our food has a lot of protein in it. And so these particles of food go through that permeable intestine or stomach or large bowel maybe, and what it does is it creates an inflammatory response in the immune system. So the body treats that as an immune assault on the body, and it wants to do something to quieten it down. Now, food particles are good in the GI tract. Your GI tract is built so that you can eat your food, even if you eat dirty food, or even if you eat food that has chemicals in it or heavy metals in it, you're going to be able to pass through the GI lining and to be all okay. What you're not able to do, okay, if you take essential oil internally, it makes holes in that mucosa lining, which allows the food particles to permeate, and it sets up that immune response. So we don't want that. So are essential oils never to be consumed? Well, no, that's not necessarily true either. So you've got to have a good balance here. Remember, essential oils are very, very powerful. They are medicine, okay? They can be used as medicine. Now, do I still carry around a lemon essential oil so I can put in my water at the restaurants? No, ma'am, I do not. Why is that? Because oil and water do not mix. If you're going to ingest an essential oil, it needs to be diluted in a fat. If you're going to take essential oils internally, they need to be recommended or prescribed by a doctor, a medical doctor who has indemnity insurance for catastrophic events pertaining to essential oil ingestion. Now, I do not have that insurance, and I don't know of any medical doctor that has that insurance, but those are the guidelines from the International Aromatherapy Guild Association. That is their guideline, that only practitioners who have that kind of insurance, have that kind of education behind them, can recommend taking oils internally. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Now, can you use essential oils in your food? Yes, you can use essential oils in your food. You always have to have it with a fat. So we've got some recipes that I can post. We're coming up to the holiday season, and so many of the essential oils that we have are really good for flavoring for the holiday season. And so we're going to post some of those recipes, probably not today, probably not until tomorrow, just because today has been a crazy, crazy day, and it is National Night Out too. I don't know if any of you guys are going to go be out in your community, but my husband wants to do some things, and so I think we have an after hours community thing that we need to do. So what are we able to do with ingesting essential oils? What are we able to do? So we use, just so you know, we use the Bare Oils brand of essential oil. Now we use that because they have the USDA organic seal on them, and we want to make sure that the gas chromatography and the mass spectrometry lab tests that are done on these essential oils are read by professionals that know what they're doing. I am not one of those. I can look at it, but it's like Greek to me. I don't understand it. But I've got partners that understand it, and they at Bare Oils will not let an essential oil come to the public if it has not been vetted by those tests and be found to have exactly what it is supposed to have in there. So what does that mean? That means it has to have the right fragrance, the right vibrational frequency that is therapeutic for that oil, and they cannot have any herbicides, pesticides, anything like that that they're not supposed to have. The oils cannot be adulterated by a lesser oil in the same family. And this is what we find a lot of times, especially with lavender. Lavender is supposed to be a specific botanical, and we find sometimes that it does have that specific botanical, but it's also adulterated with a lesser oil called lavandin. And it smells like lavender, and your nose probably can't tell the difference, but your body can, and it will not produce the calming sedative effect that it should. So just throwing that out there. So there are some different essential oils that you can put with your food with a fat that you can digest, okay? Now, think about your spaghetti, your marinara sauce, and all that kind of stuff. What kind of spices do you use? Well, you use basil, right? So basil is an essential oil, and you can very definitely flavor your sauce, because what do you have in a sauce? You've got butter, you've got olive oil, you've got different things in there that will dilute the volatility of that essential oil, and you can use it as a food, and you can digest it, and you can be just really, really happy with that. You can also use essential oils in baked goods. Why? Because you have a fat. What do you have? You have butter, you have oil. Please don't anybody tell me you're still cooking with Crisco. I hope not. I know we used to, but we're smarter now, right? Also, like I say, you've got your butter, you have your eggs. The egg yolk is full of fat, and it will take that essential oil and it will dilute it and emulsify it, and it'll be just fine. So there are some oils that you can cook with, and so we want to be able to work with that. Now, I just want to let you know that essential oils can cross the blood-brain barrier, but only sequesterpenes can, okay? Sequesterpenes is a very, very small fat-soluble oil, very, very small molecule. It can cross the blood-brain barrier. Some of these other things may or may not. So which essential oils can we use in our cooking? Well, we can use clove, we can use nutmeg, we can use ginger essential oils, okay? We can use those in our pumpkin latte, okay, if you wanted to do that. But what must also you have in that coffee? Milk, full fat milk. Why? Because you need a fat with these essential oils, okay? So you can do cream, you can do the milk, you can do olive oil, you can do coconut oil if you don't want to do milk. You have to have some kind of fat to put these essential oils in there. You can do, you know how we do at Christmas time, we do Chex Party Mix or Trail Mix, something like that. You know how we do that? You can also do that with essential oil. You can do that with cinnamon bark essential oil, all right? So you would mix it the way you need to mix it, and you would put it in the mix. You have to have a fat in there. Well, what kind of fat are you going to have? You're going to have some chocolate, okay? Chocolate is a fat. You also can have a little bit of coconut oil or a little bit of olive oil in order to work with that. I had to move my screen because my light was going out. We're on a timer here, and if they don't see any movement, I'm going to be in the dark, so I don't want that to happen. So you can do that. You can make wassail or apple cider punch with essential oil, all right? So how do you do that? Well, you can put your cinnamon bark or your lemon essential oil in there, but you have to have a fat, okay? So I would put just a little bit of coconut oil in there, and it's just going to make it a little bit creamy, but it is also going to emulsify that fat for you so that you're able to ingest it, okay? So what about washing your greens with essential oil? You know, you can do that. You can take your kale, your spinach, your lettuce, your whatever kind of vegetables you have. You can put them in your sink. You can put 2 or 3 drops of tea tree oil or oil of cajeput, or let's see, what's another good one? melaleuca oil, okay? You can put that in your water, and you can put your vegetables in there and swish them around, because remember, oil and water does not mix. You can swish them around, but that essential oil will act as an antibacterial agent, and it will actually clean all the nasty off your produce. Okay, you also want to wash your produce after you do that to make sure that none of the essential oil stays on there. Okay, so those are kind of my hints just to let you know, just to remind you, there is no such thing as a therapeutic grade oil. A lot of people will tell you that their oils are quote unquote therapeutic grade. There's really no such thing as that. They are either USDA certified organic or they're not. We go with the certified organic. So it says there are many therapeutic grade standards. The problem is, which one do you trust? All of these standards that are for internal usage are developed by companies selling the oil. They may or may not include quality control by a third party. Judgments about essential oil quality requires many years of experience in odor evaluation and knowing what specific minor components are desirable in an oil, not just focusing on the major components. So this is where we go back to the lab results, the mass spectrometry, gas chromatography. That's just so hard to say. These lab results tell you what chemical components are in those essential oils. Not every oil is the same. And so you want to, I don't care what brand of oils you use, our brand, we are able to call the company, we are able to get copies of those lab reports. So it's very important for me. Not that I understand it, I do not, but I have people. I have people that understand it, and I can roll that over to them and say, look, what is going on with this? A lot of your big companies do not give you that access. So if they don't give you that access, what are they not telling you? It's the same way with supplements. All of the supplements that we recommend here at Abundant Health and Wellness, we have third-party certification. What does that mean? That means the vendor, the lab that makes the supplement, whatever that supplement is, has to go to a third party, has no financial relationship, has no vending relationship. There's no relationship whatsoever with the manufacturer, the grower, anything like that. The third party comes in with their testing, they test, and they say everything that this company says is in this herb or formula or whatever it is actually in there. And so we've got third-party certifications on pretty much everything that we have here in the clinic, and we have it with our essential oils too. And so it's very, very important, because if you are going to use essential oils and you use them incorrectly, you could actually go to the hospital and have some problems because they're so powerful. So we don't want you to do that. All right, there's another safety thing I need to tell you too. Pure, unadulterated essential oils with no synthetics last forever. No, that's not true. These oils will last a long time if they are cared for properly. That means they are in a dark place, air conditioning is stable, right? They're not just sitting on a counter somewhere. They're not getting a lot of sunlight, because all of that degrades the oils. All oils will eventually go bad due to oxidation reactions that are unavoidable unless you somehow can store them in an oxygen-free environment. And we don't have an oxygen-free environment. Why? Because every place I go, I need oxygen. And so we don't have that for our essential oils. So the essential oils can go bad. So what essential oils might you have that you should not ingest? Okay, you should not ingest black pepper. You should not ingest cardamom. Even though cardamom is a spice, the essential oil is made from a different part of the plant, and it's not healthy for you to ingest it. You should not ingest eucalyptus. Of course, we would never do that. You should not ingest frankincense. Now, I know a lot of people that have said that they have had cancer and they have put frankincense on the tip of their tongue or the roof of their mouth because it does cross the blood-brain barrier. Yes, it does, 8%. There are a lot more essential oils that do better crossing the blood-brain barrier if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to do frankincense internally, you need to have it with a fat. You need to make sure that it is a good brand. You need to make sure that it is unadulterated, and you need to make sure that your provider has indemnity insurance in case anything goes wrong. Okay, so I'm not going to be that person that is responsible for that. Myrrh. Now, myrrh is a spice. You can take myrrh and you can put it in a tincture, and we use myrrh for respiratory complaints. I love myrrh. It's a great herbal formula, but you cannot ingest myrrh essential oil. It comes from a different part of the plant, and it will be harmful for you. Myrtle, no. Oregano, no. Okay, so oregano is a very, very volatile oil, okay? Now, I heard somewhere, probably on the internet, because you know you can always rely on what's on the internet. This is before I got qualified and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I heard that if you put oil of oregano on your moles and your freckles, that they would disappear. So I thought, well, let me see if I can do that. And so I did that, and I tell you what, that oil of oregano will burn your skin, and your skin literally will peel off in sheets. They'll be thin sheets, but it burns. It's very uncomfortable. Please don't do that. I'm so much smarter now. And no, it does not take your moles and your freckles away. I'm just saying. I tried it. It does not work. And that was before I knew that you weren't supposed to be putting that on your skin when it was not in a diluted fashion. Now, oregano oil, there's two kinds. We've got wild oregano oil here at the clinic that is an antiviral and it is an antibacterial. It is from a different part of the plant than the essential oil. So there is an oregano oil that you can ingest, but oregano essential oil is not to be ingested. A lot of people that have candida, a lot of people that have psoriasis, fungal infections, their practitioners have told them to take this internally. I say don't do it internally because it's very, very hot. It will definitely eat through that mucosa membrane, and you're going to have some problems with that. So I say no, don't do that. Patchouli, all right? You don't want to do patchouli internally. It is a great fragrance. It's great in your diffuser, but you don't want to do it. Now, what about peppermint? I mean, we're coming up to candy cane season, right? You can actually use peppermint oil when you're making the candy. Why? Because what do you have in the candy? You have Karo corn syrup, or you have molasses, or whatever you have in there. That fat will emulsify that oil, and you'll be just fine, okay? So these are some do's and don'ts for essential oils and ingesting them. We want to be very, very careful. If somebody tells you that it is okay for you to take essential oils in a capsule internally, I want you to ask them, where did they get their medical degree, okay? And I want you to ask them to show you their indemnity insurance that says the insurance company will pay out for them following your advice to take essential oils internally. I will just tell you that's probably not going to happen. They're probably not going to have that. And if you are wise and you do your research and you look at the International Aromatherapy Guild, you will see their guidelines and you will know that this is not something that we need to do. So hopefully I've answered your questions about essential oils, taking them internally. We do not want to do that. Now remember, you get 100% efficacy of the essential oil in a diffuser. If it goes in through the olfactory nerve, in through the limbic system, you're going to get 100% of the components. If you put it on your skin, you're only going to get 20%. I think if you ingest it, you're only going to get maybe 10%. I'm not quite sure what that number is. So if you're going to pay the money to get essential oils, why not put them in a diffuser? Why not use them the best way, the most efficient way, the way that you're going to get all of the components to do your body some good, right? And so you want to make sure that you're using them appropriately. So remember, 100% of the oils if you do it aromatically, only 20% if you do it topically. So I'm going to leave you with that. My time is just about up, and I have gone through all of my notes. So if you have any questions, pop them in the box and I will get to them. Otherwise, have a great National Night Out. Take care, guys.